Warning, this is a review of Bats, and yes, I'm wearing my Turtle Beaches for this one. No audio, video, clips from the episode, music from the episode. So they're being used in the making of this review, seeing that they belong to Hasbro Studios, DHX Media, and all those happy people. Plus, this is a review and will feature spoilers. If you want my first impressions before the episode, make sure to visit the new 26 line. Down here, that will probably have an annotation somewhere. And plus, this review may have mature language, so viewer discretion is advised. You know what, guys? Screw the review moratorium. I was just about to go an entire season without doing a review of an episode. But then when I thought about it, I have nothing but time on my hands. So you know what? It's time to get uber critical with these suckers. And I'm starting with the most recent. It's time to stop with the fanboying and get critical. This is the first season 4. Heck, it's the first episode review for a My Little Pony episode. This is the new 26. The reviews. This is Bats. Hold on to your wings, folks. This is gonna get brutal. Mayweather Williams, aka the Voice of Reason's least favorite writer. And if you haven't checked out Voice of Reason, I'm going to have a link in an annotation probably right here so you can check him out. He's cool, he does good work, and he's very funny. Mayweather Williams is a 2-time Emmy Award winning writer for Camp Lazlo, a show on Cartoon Network that I didn't like. Plus, he's one of the main writers of some of the best episodes of the worst TV show on earth, SpongeBob SquarePants. But he also wrote some of the better ones, too. But in the case of My Little Pony, his resume reads like a bunch of Mark Henry World Championship matches loaded with a whole bunch of suck in them. Thus, we lead straight into his first attempt in season 4 to bring some goodness into his resume. In the episode Bats. Now, this is the part of the review where I must say I'm about to spoil the entire episode for you if you haven't seen the episode yet. In any way, do not go to YouTube, do not pirate this crap. Go to the legal streaming site. Go official. Go to hubworld.com and view the stream there. They stream every episode there, probably a day or two after they air. It's where they official stream. Help them out. They're good at their job. And do it by official channels. It makes you feel less dirty. If you have seen the episode or don't care about spoilers, okay then. It's once again apple bucking season down on Applejack's farm. The first bit of continuity all the way back to episode 4. And trust me, there's plenty of continuity in this sucker to go around. Applejack would be ecstatic if it weren't for the fact that all of our apples happen to have no juice in them. But don't fret, she already knows the culprit. Vampire fruit bats who have attacked Sweet Apple Acres before and ruined the cider season for Granny Smith and clan. Although she thinks it will blow over the next day, they're at it again. And she's had just about enough. So she calls in the help of the rest of the Harmony Six to get rid of the bats and save her apple bucking season. And of course, it's up to Fluttershy to come up with a happy medium. Fluttershy, thinking that the vampire bats are a help to the farm, suggests just to let them do their job and spread their seeds all over the farm to make bigger and better trees. But also, Applejack is trying to protect the prize-winning giant-sized apple that she intends to send to Appaloosa. Once again, connection to over a barrel. Wow. 2 episode connections right away. We are led straight into the second song of the season, a conversational song that shares a lot of contrast with The Nightmare Before Christmas's Danny Elfman's music. And I can see where the connection is established here. It's not the most catchy thing, but the musical track fits perfectly in its position and doesn't alienate. Plus, it's a fun, unique way to tell the conflict. Fluttershy is worried about the family and the well-being of the bats, while unfortunately the rest of the Harmony Six want to go 5-on-1 Nexus beatdown and pretty much tell her to get rid of the darn things. Which ultimately Fluttershy caves to a plan of Twilight's. This is where it goes horribly wrong. My beloved's plan is simply this: to use Fluttershy's signature power of what I like to call the demon stare to keep the bats under control, while she uses the control spell to cause the vampire fruit bats not to drink the fruit from the apples, thus saving the apples. Of course, all of the rest of the Harmony Six are on board and trying to help out with the plan, except for Rainbow Dash, who has unfortunately returned to Rainbow Douche. Because all she cares about in this episode is cider. Yes, Super Squeezy 6000 connection here. She just wants to be in the front of the line to get some of the Apple family's famous cider, and she's willing to do anything to protect Applejack's hustle for her own personal enjoyment. Rarity thinks it's an episode of Resident Evil and has to straight up put on a hazmat suit to protect herself from the bats. It's rather humorous. And of course, Pinkie Pie thinks of them as actual vampires. Funny, Pinkie Pie is going to get her wish soon enough. The plan goes smoothly it seems at first, seeing that the spell works and the bats are no longer interested in drinking the fruit. Just one small problem. Later that night, Fluttershy tends to get cravings over apples the next night when Applejack discovers on day 3 that the orchard is once again pillaged. But this time it's from a bigger problem. Fluttershy has become one of them. Yep, she is transforming straight up into a vampire fruit bat. Which, by the way, credit to DHX and credit to Williams for everything about the vampire bat pony here. Yes, bat ponies are officially a thing, and I love it. The slow brooding transformation, the great wing animations. Yes, there are 2 Batman references in the span of 3 minutes. But when your show has become pop culture, you will make pop culture. The use of light, shadows, and great camera tricks to hide Fluttershy's new appearance at first sends out a moment of dread and concern that is genuinely great to behold, especially with the darker night backdrop. This is now 3 episodes that have taken place in Luna's night. Yes, more. Worship the Night Princess more. But when the Harmony 6, mainly Pinkie Pie, finally lay eyes on their transformed friend, it becomes apparent that it's no longer about the farm and more about saving Fluttershy. A fact that even stubborn Applejack ultimately understands. She just wants her friend back. So, how does Twilight plan to reverse her Swarm of the Century-like mistake? Well, she actually uses technological magic to illustrate it in a nice technological nod to radar and diagrams, actually. By using the fact that Flutterbat isn't a fully transformed vampire bat yet and seems to still have a reflection. Thus, seeing that the stare is what caused the problem, the stare is what will get them out of it. She plans to use Fluttershy's demon stare combined with a set of mirrors to keep her in place long enough to perform the counter spell needed with some alicorn magic to set the transformation back. What follows is a perfectly executed plan and set up by the Harmony 6. Fluttershy is cured and all seems well. Until a single Fang teases that it may not be completely done. This episode, quite frankly, is Mayweather Williams' best overall work in the series so far, which means I agree with most of the analyzers. But the strange thing is, a lot of the lessons this season have been double-fisted anyway. This is the first one that seems to be wide out in the open to be double-fisted. The main lesson that goes into the Harmony Journal is the one about standing your ground and not giving in to peer pressure. A great lesson as always, seeing that both kids and adults seem to cave in under the pressure of peer pressure from large groups. But the other lesson is a humanitarian and nature one, to respect the other species' duties on the planet and often understand that nature can assist living societies in making their individual success more successful. But it's also a triple lesson because it shows the value and importance of somehow coming to a compromise and better understanding both sides of an argument. This triple lesson is illustrated beautifully. The special effects are among the best in the show thus far. The song fits in perfectly and feels like a necessary thing. The Bat Pony reveal and delivery is done expertly, and the ending has creepy foreshadowing, and the lesson is an overall W. But this episode is not perfect, mainly for three reasons. One, Spike only has one line of dialogue, and it unfortunately makes him look like a douchebag. But this also acts as a continuity connect in a weird way to Mayweather Williams' also despised work, Spike at Your Service. Also, with Rainbow Dash being on Cider Patrol, you would expect her to be more focused and driven. That she is not. She is a complete waste of space, along with the rarity in this episode. Neither do anything particularly necessary to help the plot along. It's mainly Twilight, Applejack, Fluttershy, and Pinkie Pie doing most of the heavy lifting in this episode. It's only later with the mirrors that Rarity gets involved here. Also, what is important to note Also, what is important to note is the fact that the episode could be a little longer, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Everything gets done in 22 minutes, but mainly it's Twilight for not learning her lesson from Swarm of the Century. Honey, word of advice, my dear. Sometimes magic doesn't solve everything. In fact, sometimes your all powerful magic, well, scratch that. Most of the time you think of a spell out of rush or necessary need ends up going horribly bad. And another thing, honey, you should be the mediator. You should not be falling in with the peer pressure of the rest of the Harmony 5 on top of Fluttershy in this Nexus beatdown. You're the princess. You should be the middle ground, the last to make a decision, and definitely not the first to cave in. You are a leader. You should be the last one to hear both arguments and be the one that's on the steady even side. But unfortunately, you didn't, which is a total negative. So I have to punish you for your idiocy. But overall, from a scale of 1 to 6, 6 being harmonic, meaning the best examples of harmony and friendship examples. Rewatchable episodes for the span of time and great examples of this show at its best, and 1 being the mysterious Murderwell, a completely skippable piece of nothing that should be forgotten by the annals of time and bronies. I'm willing to give my first review of an episode and the first score of an episode, not only this season, but the entire series as a whole, a 4 out of 6, meaning it's middle ground, or as I like to call it, the Winnermon, represented by Applejack. Jack being straightforward, dependable, and a great, honest episode worthy of a couple of rewatches. A bit of large character flaws makes this episode not exactly perfect, but the backbone, the implementation of the lesson, the triple lessons, the great song, and the great animation on display finally gives people that like Maiweather Williams great pride in an episode. This is definitely a winner and a rewatch. Unfortunately for us, next week I have to deal with one of my own demons. A rarity episode is coming. Next week, mainly tomorrow, we get Rarity Takes Manhattan. I just hope that the episode is good. I just wish there were gremlins that would show up to maul Rarity's face so that we can skip it. Until next time, my fellow equestrians, this is Yoko Line 59, the artist soon to be known as Nirvana Sparkle, saying, find peace in your own Nirvana. Thanks for watching.